Hi folks. I was just thinking today about how I found out that there was no Santa. I was about 5 years old when it happened. I caught my parents putting the presents under the tree, like you do. And, I came down Christmas morning. I struggled with whether or not to tell them that I knew, but ultimately I just said, you know what, there's no Santa. And my parents, being really great, rational people, looked at each other like, oh, well, our little boy's growing up. And they smiled and said, yep, we're busted. There's no Santa. And I really felt like a big boy, and we all just kind of had a laugh about it. And my mother said, we weren't trying to lie to you. We just didn't want to give up that little piece of your childhood. And I understood that. Even though I was 5, I understood that. But what if, when I came to my parents and said, guess what? There's no Santa. What if they'd have said, oh yes, there is? What if they'd have said that and then backed it up with books and videos and hundreds and hundreds of other people's accounts? Let's just say, what if they could show me buildings erected to Santa? What if they could show me millions of people who worshipped Santa and said, Saint Nicholas, he's real. Now, I grew up Catholic, so the saint thing was a big thing. And I was always kind of suspicious of that. I was always suspicious of everything. But, if my parents had told me, hell yes, there's a God, and I can prove it, and they'd taken me to a place where people all get together and worship Santa, and if I'd seen buildings erected to him, and if I'd grown up in a culture where everybody, almost literally everybody, believed in him, I would still believe in him today. And that makes me think about religion. I've often asked myself, if religion, that old question, if religion is false, why does everybody believe in it? I now know. I know why. You get enough people to say something is real, and you're going to believe it. You're going to believe it. I don't care who you are or how smart you think you are. And it makes me think about children. What people tell their children. And, I think that it's very important to tell children the truth. It's important to let them know that they're right. There's no Santa. And I also think it's important to tell kids, look, God is a story. I know what you Christians are saying out there. Well, don't say that. We can't let our kids grow up without God. There'd be no hope in their lives. Where would their morality come from? Well, this is just one video, and I've got 10 minutes. I can't tell you the answer to all that. I do know this. I went from being a Christian to being an agnostic to being an atheist. And I did it quite naturally by realizing what ridiculous nonsense religion really is. I've seen how it hurts people. I've seen people brainwash their children. I've seen the homophobia, the bigotry, the violence. And I don't mean just Christianity, I'm talking about all religion. It's all bad. You know, God, as a character, has become an excuse to hurt people. And that's wrong. And I know that you're probably out there thinking, oh, well, there are some Christians who don't do that. You know, and that may be true. And there are some Muslims who don't do that, and some this and some that. Yeah, sure. There's plenty of people who don't want to hurt other people. But the fact is, the majority of them do. So when your kid comes up to you and says, "Is there a God?" think about Santa Claus, will you? Thanks.